Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And the hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Play Point podcast. This is the Blue Liner on Point, coming to you from the digs at Glen Burnie, Maryland. And here we are. It's Tuesday again, and not just another Tuesday, but Season's Eve, as the Capitals go into the 2018-19 season as the defending Stanley Cup champions. And going to take recent events into account, of course. Going to go over what to expect on the season and the final roster and such. And here to help me do that is our ever-popular mermaid mentalist, Fairfax's finest teaching prodigy. She'll teach you a lesson if you don't listen. And you better listen to what she has to say. And that's the beautiful, wonderful, ever lovely Anna Knox.
I don't know if I ever get old of that intro. Hi, Gil.
Hello. I'm buttering you up now because I fear we're going to have one of our famous dust-ups that hopefully won't get too nasty, but yeah. We have to address the elephant in the room, but we'll get to that
Bring it on.
in a second. How's your week, man? You feeling better?
I am. I realized how much TMI I offered last week on the show with my body going through food poisoning. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just adjusting to, I've got a couple classes that I'm taking, the recertification stuff for teaching. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got homework, 2 classes, and this, and I'm super excited for tomorrow. So I want to be sure I got lots of stuff done today early because I want to watch everything tomorrow. It's going to be such an exciting hump day. I'm super excited. And yeah, and then getting ready for company this weekend. So it's a good week. It's only Tuesday, but so far it's all good. How about you?
Yep, getting ready for the season. Same old stuff. But yeah, working around cap stuff and getting excited. We'll talk about this towards the end, but getting excited about this coming Sunday. Yep.
Yeah.
And but that reminds me, there's some stuff you and I have to discuss about that off the air. So yeah.
Sounds serious.
Well, it could be.
Oh God. I was kidding. All right.
So,
okay.
But yeah,
we'll talk about it later.
We'll get to all of that towards the end of the show.
Okay. Okay. So. Ready to drop the gloves?
Yeah. Let's do a little intro first. For those of you that Caps fans or non-Caps fans possibly listening to this show, or if you've been living under a rock for the last 4 or 5 days. Our guy Tommy Wilson has unfortunately gotten himself into a bit of trouble again. Stop me if you've heard this before, but in a preseason game, he had what most would determine to be a questionable hit on St. Louis's, I believe it was a game against St. Louis, right?
Correct.
Yes, St. Louis's Oscar Sundqvist, and I'm feeling that he wasn't feeling too sweet and orangey after that hit. By all accounts, Oscar was indeed kind of grouchy after he got out of the ice. Sorry, I kid, but I shouldn't kid because there was an obvious injury on this point, and so Anna being the defender of Tom Wilson and his play, I'm pretty sure the position she's going to take. So I don't know if you wanted to go first with your thoughts or if you wanted to let me go first. However you want to do this, but I get the feeling we're kind of on opposite sides on this one.
Okay. It's my boy Tommy, but I'm going to give you the honors of starting.
Okay, fair
rumble.
enough. Fair enough.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I will always support Mr. Wilson as long as he wears the 43 for the red, white, and blue. He is an invaluable asset to the team and is a unique element not every team will ever hope to have. His combination of tough play and gritty checking and sometimes offensive ability is like no other. That being said, here again, we have history repeating itself. We have yet again him exerting himself in what amounted to basically a meaningless game and putting on, yes, it is at best, a questionable hit. Now, I will say this. I have seen this hit from various different angles. I've consulted other fans. I've seen other Caps fans' opinions. Dare I go outside Caps fandom, I'll know what I'll get. So I don't bother to ask those people. Although I will say also that some non-Caps fans also said, and I hope I'm not shooting holes in my own argument with this, that the hit was not maybe so questionable. But in any case, I don't know if I have so much of a problem with the hit itself, which, if you look at it from certain angles, was either a late hit or targeted the head. You could make the case for both. You could make the case for either. But the biggest problem I have with it was that it was in a meaningless game, was not needed, did not go towards helping the team win, and again, it only adds to his reputation, which unfortunately in the long run is going to hurt him. Now, as the song goes, maybe he doesn't give a damn about his reputation, but it only paints an even bigger mark upon himself. And that's what I'm worried about. And also what I'm worried about is that the timing of this was just very poor, and it's just another example, the latest example of what really is bad judgment on his part. And that's really the biggest problem I have with it. I don't necessarily have too big of a problem with the hit itself. It's just he needs to exercise better judgment, and that's my biggest beef with it. And it's high time, now that he's got his contract, now that he's a cornerstone of the team officially, that he starts thinking better. And that's what I need to start seeing. So that's why this latest incident is bothering me a hell of a lot.
Okay. Well, I will probably shock you and many others who have listened to Gil and Anna banter. I partially agree. I can't possibly support and defend the hit. I can't. I can say I do not believe it was malicious. I do not think he was out to target this individual and knock him to the ice and so on. It was hardcore. It was pain train to the nth degree. It was powerful. With that being said, yeah, I'm disappointed in my boy, and this is the reason why. Because I felt like last year when we started to talk, when we were starting the podcast together, I have always been a Tommy fan. And I agree with you. As long as, he's wearing 43 for the Caps, I still love the guy. I saw a Tom Wilson this year that matured. Even though he started off with his suspensions, he was being a target. He was being egged on, and he had his moments. But I saw a maturity in him that I was super impressed with. Unfortunately, what I'm not seeing, and I was kind of hoping I would this season, is to have the maturity continue, but to also see him get into a more of a leadership role. He is nowhere near that, because at this point, what he demonstrated on ice was reckless. It was uncalled for, and it was just a really, really stupid move on his end. And unfortunately, his instant karma is going to be 24 hours from now when his entire team is on the ice watching the banner, and he's not going to be there. Because I will not be surprised, because he's a repeat offender, if they don't give him 10 games. So I can't. When you said you and I were going to go, I was like, yeah, Gil and I haven't had like the good old banter in a while. Oh, this might not be the one, because I'm disappointed. I'm not pissed. I'm disappointed because he, like you just said, he is going to be a huge, huge player on the team. Just size, speed, skill, and maturity. It's all going to come in this great little package. I just don't need to see that package in the locker room or in the sin bin. And now, again, he's going to be hated that much more. And I don't want to see some, God forbid, season-ending injury because someone is just tired of Tom Wilson, doing shit like this. So, sorry there wasn't more. Maybe we'd find like another topic.
Well, I gotta say, I'm
surprised.
More than a little surprised.
Yeah.
But pleasantly so. But
I might have grown up a little bit too.
Well, I don't think it's just that, but I mean, I think if you look over and a good barometer, because I like to think this group is amongst the most knowledgeable that I've ever spent any time with amongst Caps fans. Not that there are lesser Caps fans. Well, not meaning to put that out there, but the true.
No, we're awesome.
Right. But the true Caps fans Facebook room, I tend to find them and the Washington Capitals fans group on Facebook. Between those two groups, I tend to find that they are the most informed, and they tend to have the most passionate and knowledgeable opinions of the game in general, and of course what's happening with the Washington Capitals. And so most of the people in those groups, most of them to a person pretty much said, hey, look, the hit, yes, was questionable. I don't think he was targeting the head. I don't think it was on purpose. I don't think it was intent to injure. But again, it was reckless in its timing and the situation. It really wasn't called for. It shouldn't have been done. So a lot like what you just said. Most of the prevailing opinion in those two groups seemed to be of that. So I'm just going to take it one step further and say, in a rebuttal, and I'm sorry, you guys listening, if you thought we were really going to drop the gloves here, but I'm just as surprised as you are. But look, Tommy needs to, get out of this whole mentality of go for the hit and think of nothing else, because I honestly think that's the mode he goes into. And there were times, a lot of the time last year, where he displayed the maturity he needed to have. Okay?
Right.
We just need to see more of it.
He's capable. Yeah, he's capable of restraining himself. It is like the students I work with. It's an impulse control issue. It's almost like he just sees red and that's it. I think he's at a point right now where he is probably in the best shape of his life. The guy's a beast. Everyone knows that. Maybe he just doesn't know how powerful he is, because even his face looked shocked looking at the player just laying still on the ice. Kind of like, oh, fuck, did I do that?
Well,
and it's like, okay, but that is where you're going to have your coach and whomever else. Not only is this the time for the coach to have the sit-down conversation about what he expects from Wilson this season, but also the players. I mean, you are literally a team, and those guys are absolutely going to say, if someone's going to pick a fight with me, I want number 43 there dropping the gloves, because I know he's got my back and I know he can pound somebody. Awesome. However, there's a time and a place for stuff like that, and what he pulled yesterday was reckless, or 2 days ago. So I feel like sometimes when you have to hear it from not just, commissioner kind of conversations, you have to hear it from your peers, from the players, whatever else. That's when it's really going to hit home for him. And especially tomorrow night with the banner raising, the fact that he can't be on the ice, especially against Boston, and then again against Pittsburgh the next night, sucks. But that's his karma, unfortunately.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is probably going to be a tough lesson for him to learn. And like you just said, it may have to come. I'm not suggesting an intervention or anything like that, but the message may have to come from within the team.
Yeah.
For him to finally sit down and think, okay, well, maybe it's time I need to pick my spots a little bit better. Now, as far as discipline goes, this is the part that's really going to hurt, because I mean, everybody, we had other incidents in the preseason, and most fans howled like crazy about players missing preseason games because of the simple fact that players don't get paid for the preseason games. Well, guess what? The preseason's over, so Tom's going to start up his brand new contract, and guess what? He's facing more than likely a double-digit suspension. So
yeah.
10 games out of 82, that's a nice chunk of change he's going to be paying out. So if that doesn't get to him, I don't know what will.
And I honestly don't think, I personally just, with his athletic skill and whatnot, that he's going to be more humbled by the Ovies and the Holpies and Oshies and whatnot telling him to, hey, we need you on the team, quit fucking around and getting suspended, versus, hey, you know what, Wilson, we're going to go ahead and take $1 million. For him, I don't see it dollar signs at all. I see it purely as, I think the biggest effect that he's going to have in changing is when it comes from his teammates, and see how Reardon handles them.
Quit fucking around, quote unquote. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is if you live in Fairfax County, Virginia, this person is in charge of your children's education.
Stop.
I'm kidding.
It's after hours.
Yes, it is. Yes. I'm teasing you. I'm just teasing you.
I will say, when I am at school for 7.5 hours, a bunch around, 13 fifth grade boys, I have never, knock on wood, used a cuss word.
Oh, I know.
Am I thinking it? Fuck yes. Quite frequently when they're fighting or something, and I'm just like, oh, fucking A. But no, so when it comes to this kind of stuff, yeah, I mean, you know that they're not going to sit him down and say, you know what, Tom, we appreciate you as a player, and I feel, no, it's going to be, listen, asshole, get your shit together, be on this fucking team, man up, and quit getting suspended. And you want to hear it and get humbled by your teammates, because those are the ones that care about you the most.
As usual, you make your point succinctly. So I think we'll end this what I thought was going to be a debate on that.
I know. No.
So
Well,
yeah,
you know what? It's okay.
Pleasant surprise, but yeah, I mean, I think we can both, for once, agree that the best thing is for him to be on the ice, and the quit fucking around is quit fucking around is a message he should take to heart.
Yeah, I may just have to have that shirt. Quit fucking around, number 43.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so with that, we'll close that part of it. And as we already talked about, the banner raises tomorrow, and so I want to talk about basically real quick here how the preseason went as a whole. Of course, we saw the first few games, and it was just nothing short of painful, awful, just not very good. The other night, I want to mention something here. I know you like horror movies. Did you happen to catch the Carolina game?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So you saw what I saw, right?
You saw what I saw,
which was I'm surprised you didn't say something about enjoying the game a little more, because there's a whole lot of slashing going on. And isn't that usually what happens in a horror movie?
Not all the time, but it can. But yes, it's funny that you say that, because I didn't even put it together. Only, I wasn't thinking horror movies. But yes, I love horror movies. But yeah, what was with all the slashing calls? Like, it was a little over the top. And I feel like, wasn't last year the big thing that all of us were like, oh my God, how many times do we have to go through this? When they are dropping the puck and the refs keep, calling guys out, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, like, let's go. Do you remember that? Wasn't that this last season?
That was that and the slashing of the hands was the big thing last year. And
yes.
I think they gave up on the face-off thing, and I think they tried to rehash the slashing thing this year. I don't know.
It's a little, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it is preseason and they're just like so amped up, focused on that. But yeah, it was. If you look at any website that is, NHL.com or Caps or whatever it is, and you look at the summary, and they break down the penalties, my God, like 80%, 90% of them were slashing. So I don't know. I mean, there were some calls that I was like, yeah, okay, that was pretty blatant.
You gotta remember though, it's preseason for the refs too, and they're auditioning as well. So that may have had some part in it. So I just wanted to point that out, not just for the humor element exactly, but I definitely saw a lot of rustiness from the refs, which hopefully they've worked out by now. Because there were quite a few calls that were missed or questionable at best.
Agreed.
Yeah. So so moving on to the final roster.
Yes.
I am at the official team website, and as of right now, they have. I'm just going to read off the names. Forwards first. And this is, of course, in alphabetical order. Nicholas Backstrom, one of the two alternate captains. Travis Boyd, who unfortunately will start the year on injured reserve. Andrei Burakovsky, Brett Connolly, Nick Dowd, Lars Eller, Shane Gersich, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Jason Megna, names not Vrana, Nathan Walker, and Tom Wilson, who, of course, will most likely be not available for a little while. So those are the forwards. And on defense, as of right now, the official roster reads thus. Madison Bowie, John Carlson, Christian Juice, Michael Kempney, Matt Niskanen, Dmitry Orlov, the other alternate captain Brooks Orpik, and Jonas Siegenthaler. And I'm kind of glad he's last because I want to talk about him a little bit. Anna, last episode you issued me a challenge.
Did I?
Of sorts.
Okay.
So Alex Chason obviously is no longer on the team.
Oh, God.
So,
you were supposed to forget.
So, no, I didn't forget.
And we're like one of those like Men in Black moments where I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
And then it just erased that. Damn.
You thought so, huh? Well,
Okay.
it so happens that Jonas Siegenthaler is Swiss.
Oh, fuck. No yodeling.
Well, I mean,
No.
it's
No.
it's
No.
not gonna come.
No.
It's not gonna come from me. But I think he's gonna be one to hopefully get some time this year and make his mark. So I'm thinking, every time we get to talking about him, there goes a little something like this.
God, enough. I'm hanging up. You're such an ass. Okay, I will say this though. Well, like, one, I don't even know why you would have that music available. Secondly, the only reason why I'm okay with that, and this is gonna, throw you for a loop, that I'm okay with that song, is because it's like the best game ever on Price is Right. Right?
I was hoping you'd catch that.
Hell yeah. I was always like, oh yeah, don't, the guy is going up and up and you don't want him to fall off. Yeah. That and Plinko. But anyways, yeah. Okay. Don't know if I need to hear it that long though. How about this? Every time we have to talk about him, you could play that and that's fine, but no accents.
Okay, you got a deal. I mean, I thought.
Oh, shut up! Really?
I thought you would prefer that, so that's why the music is, as opposed to me doing an accent. So that's why.
We have matured.
Yeah,
God.
I don't believe this. We're
Fucking
agreeing.
A.
We're working together for once.
I know. God damn it.
Instead of against each other.
Yeah, but it's still preseason.
Yeah, true. We'll hit a bump in the road somewhere. I'm sure.
We have about 88 games that will.
Well, speaking of which,
oh, good God.
Yes, we have that in front of the team, and it'll start with a bang with the banner raising tomorrow night.
Yep.
But yes, right now we're staring down an 82-game season. And well, I mean, it's a bit scary in that we're facing the unknown, if you think about it. Because as much as we want to act like we've been there before, this team has never approached a season as the defending Cup champions. And
right.
With that comes a big-ass target that you painted on yourself. Literally, all the other 30 teams are gunning for you. They are after you. They are going to try to take what they have. Now, some of them, of course, are quite a bit further away from the goal, so they're not to be worried about. But others are pretty damn close, and pretty damn pissed at the same time. I'm looking at you, Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm sure they're not happy about losing in 7 games in the conference final, being one damn game away from the final series. I'm looking at you, Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm sure they're not happy that they were dethroned by the Capitals
Right.
in a run for 3 straight. I'm looking at you, Philadelphia Flyers, with your up-and-coming roster and making trades and making deals.
I'm not really fucking. What the hell is with that mascot?
Oh, I don't get me started on that. But that's
Yeah.
that's the least of their concerns.
I do have a great meme I'm gonna put on Power Play about that I was like, whoever writes these, I'm like, that's you wanted to you want to marry people, you feel like that's your calling. I honestly think that I should get paid to write memes because they're just the people who do that are brilliant. Not saying that I am, but I think I can be pretty quick and witty with responses. But man, that whatever that thing is, God, it's like that's gonna jinx their team, which I'm fine with, but I'm like, God. Anyways, totally off topic. I'm sorry. So yes,
that's
Flyers moving on, and Vegas, right?
I wasn't even going to get out to the West, but Vegas, and but back east, another team rather. I think we should be concerned about is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now that they probably have. I say probably, not looking within, of course, but probably have, on paper anyway, the best 1-2 center punch in the league right now in both Austin Matthews and John Tavares. So they are certainly a team that is hungry and wanting to win now.
But it's honestly, like you can say this, and it's the same thing with any other sport, and we've. I know that we've talked about this. It's like no one's going to take this 2018 Stanley Cup name, title, whatever you want to call it, away from the Capitals. Like they got it. So whatever happens from here, it's like, okay, you know what? You got pretty much the same team. You have an assistant coach as now head coach. So there really isn't a whole lot of shakeup with the team. They just, but Tommy throwing them for a loop, but you know what? Tough shit. They're going to figure it out. However, I do think going into this 2018-2019 season, we are going to see other teams that are going to be phenomenal. And it's not going to, I'm not seeing the Pens being talked about as much. Kind of old news with those guys because you're going to have, you've got the Knights. Okay, they're kind of out, they want to start their sophomore year or whatever. The Sharks, now they've got Carlson, they've got things that they're going to be brewing there. Like you said, Toronto. That's why I'm so pumped for this season because I really want to see, I want to see it hardcore. I want everyone coming out and playing hockey the way you're supposed to. And these guys are freaking talented and sick. And that's what makes me excited. So, you know what? Hey, they may all want to come and go for the cup. We do too. It's every year there's going to be a new Super Bowl champion, a new World Series, whatever, you've got the NBA, whatever it is. We got our title. We have the trophy. The names are on it and the banner's going up tomorrow. So I feel like such a huge relief and huge, ugly dark cloud over Washington is gone. And now it's just up to those boys to go out there and play their hardest and play for the love of the sport, for the love of the city, the love of the fans, and have a good time. How's that? I'm as confident as anyone can be in this team in what they have now. I have no doubt they will give it their maximum effort. I also have no doubt that the other 30 teams will do the same. Right, but that's what makes it fun.
Well, it is fun, but when you're at the top of the mountain, it's a long way down. And
see, right then you could have cued the little Swiss song, and I probably would have laughed.
Oh, that's okay. They'll be that too. The guy falling off and crashing when the lady says, "Oh, I think that popcorn maker's $100 and it's really $25." Yeah.
Right. And they're like, "Stop."
Yeah.
Aww. But I don't know. I just think it's exciting. I think it is. I absolutely love a sport that is constantly, you have veteran players that have the intellect, the speed, the skill, and also the patience. But then you have these kids coming up, and my God, when they're out there, and the combination of the two is just brilliant. So you're going to have that across, on all teams, like you said, with Toronto. It's exciting. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting to see, players come up. It's super exciting. Like for myself, I always find at least 2 or 3 players on the opposing team that get under my skin. So like and to me, like, that's just fun. I'm looking forward to the next 82 games.
Oh, I am as well, but I just wanted to put something of a caveat out there for maybe, I don't know, maybe the casual Caps fan or somebody just starting out, or even seasoned Caps fans like us. Look,
Right.
this is not going to be a team. This is not going to be a year where they go out there and they're going to win every game 6-0, like
Right.
I used to say a couple years ago. Okay, it's not going to happen. There are going to be games where they look bad, just like last year. There are going to be games where the opponent is going to make a statement and want to make a statement and beat them badly, and they're going to make
Right.
them look bad. This team has just as many, if not more, question marks as any other. Who's going to be the 7th D? Who's going to fill in the hole that Wilson's going to leave for God knows how many games to start with on the top line? Who's going to end up being the permanent 4th line? Who's going to be on that? How will Phoenix Copley hold up as a permanent NHL backup in his first year with the big club? He hasn't faced these shooters on a permanent basis. How is he going to hold up? How many times can you let Holtby rest? And he's going to need his rest. And biggest of all, maybe, and nobody's ever thought of this, I don't think, has Holtby, now that he's gotten to the mountaintop, finally got over the mental anguish and issues that plagued him all of last year, or most of last year, till he was finally challenged for his job? Has that gotten through to him? Especially now with the new coaching regime? That probably is the biggest question mark.
Because he was, benched, if we have to say it, scratch, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. And we're putting Grubauer in because there are the concerns with Holtby, which was what happened. He sat there, he took it, he supported his teammate. It was like the big old humble pie. Holy crap, this is what it comes down to. Everyone knows with him it's mental. It is. I don't even know how goalies in any sport, but I don't know how they do it in hockey, to be honest. I mean, the reflexes, it's amazing. He absolutely proved to the team, but more importantly, excuse me, to himself, that mental block is gone. He can get through it. He proved himself. So he's one I'm not worried about him. What I don't want to see happen is the Burakovskis going through their drought where things get really bad and really awful for a while, and then he has like an amazing goal. I want to see more consistency with him. I think you're not a big fan of Madison Valley. I like the kid. I think that he's another one that just kind of needs to get his confidence up. And I'm pulling. I've got my little, stars of the week and whatnot going. Copley, I think the kid's going to do awesome. Is he going to be tested? Absolutely. My God, think of who he could be going up and within the next week alone if Holtby isn't playing, which I think he will because there's such a big gap between when they play Pittsburgh and they don't play the Knights till the following Wednesday. But you know what? But that's all part of this. That's why you train to do this. That's why this is your career. So at some point, yeah, you got to graduate and play with the big boys. And are you going to take a puck?
Look, I get all that, and I'm on the positive side too. I'm just saying these are questions that are going to need to be answered in some way during these next 82 games. Because if they're not, at least not to some sort of satisfactory degree, then, it may be we're looking for not suck back-to-back, but there may not be a back-to-back is the only thing I'm worried about. Maybe, they have to answer these questions during the regular season to have a solid shot at getting back on that mountaintop. And that's where we all want and need them to be. So I'm just saying that's something to look for. And there's going to be, again, bumps along the road. Nothing that's ever worth having seems to come easily. Now, that's true in life, and that's certainly true of the Stanley Cup. I'm just saying, fellow Caps fans, look for that. Look for the bumps in the road. Look for adversity to come back and haunt us, which, if we want this team to succeed, you kind of have to hope for that, because that seems to be when they respond the best.
Absolutely.
When they're faced with that. So, okay. So, so let's look at where we're at here time-wise. Mr. Producer Jeffrey, what are we looking at here? Okay, so Mr. Jeffrey says the time is getting short on us here. Mm-hmm. So I think, unless Anna, you had anything else you wanted to put out there? Oh yes, that the Hershey trip. Real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So quick couple minutes about that.
No. I'm just excited. I just don't know how many other people out there are going. I will have my phone on me. Contact me. Send me a message on our Facebook page, or Instagram, or however, Twitter, however you need to get a hold of me, you can find me. And it would be awesome to meet up. I'm going. My hockey mom from Winnipeg is going to be out from California. So my gift to her is for, she's raising me to be a sports lover, and I'm going to take her to see the Stanley Cup, and I'm going to bring my kids with me. So that's really exciting. And I understand you're coming. Mrs. Blue Liner's coming. I think the Levesques are going to be there.
Steve, right? Chris and Steve, both brothers. Tony Olcott will be there from True Caps fans. So a lot of guys I'm going to meet for the first time. I can't remember who else said they were going to be there. I think a couple other people said they would be there as well. But yes, it's going to be an absolute experience. This will be my first time. I mean, of course, I was at the parade, so I was maybe about 40 feet from the cup. Because I was close to the stage in one of the front rows, but this is going to be the first time, and I don't know if it's going to be the last. I don't know, but certainly the first time I'm going to be close enough to the cup to touch it, so I'm not missing this for the world. And I want to thank my lovely wife, the missus, for coming up with this idea and just saying, you know what, F it, let's just go up there and we'll do this thing. So
there you go.
Anyone, Caps fans out there, if you're listening, let's, like Anna said, message me, private message me. We're in the True Caps fans room, and of course on the Facebook page. Let us know if you want to meet up beforehand, and love to meet all of you who are going to be out there. Yes, Mr. Producer Jeffrey is waving at me with the time check, and we're getting short on time now.
Okay, so let's close it out.
Yep, our goal, of course, this year is to make things more compact for you, the listener. So we're not going to go in our hour-long segments anymore if we can avoid it. So, hope to see you all in Hershey on the 7th. And hopefully you'll all be watching tomorrow night as that glorious red banner that says Stanley Cup Champions 2018 goes up. And I can't think of anything that'll make me prouder to see that.
Oh, agreed.
So, for Anna Knox, this is the Blue Liner on Point signing off and reminding you that dead batteries are always free of charge. Hallelujah, and let's go Caps.
Go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.